Hello, konnichiwa, hola everyone, welcome to the stream. Hi, sorry for the wait. I was making some coffee before the stream, so yeah. My brain kind of froze for a second there. Hi. My name is Leo. I'm your resident amoeba buyer, singer, and professional sim. And speaking of sim, today we're playing a little visual novel that has been on my radar for a little bit, but I don't have much idea what it is about. It's Ballads at Midnight, and as far as I know, we're just a bard that got like exiled or something, and now we're like prisoners to a vampire, and I don't know, maybe feelings ensue. You know, it's a visual novel, probably feelings ensue, but yeah. Sorry, I'm taking a little bit to like process things. I'm more tired than usual today. I don't know why. I mean, I haven't been sleeping properly, but this is not weird in my daily life, so I don't know why I'm more tired. Maybe the lack of sleep is just catching up to me. So that's why I had to go and make coffee. I usually don't drink coffee, but oh well. When the situation requires it, one has to drink coffee. It's really more milk and sugar than anything, but yeah. Anyway, with that, let us begin, shall we? I'm hoping we finish this one in one sitting. As far as I'm aware, there's like 3 endings. So we'll see. It is a little bit laggy and I don't know why. Oh, okay. My wrists itch. My stomach is churning and empty. My legs are sore. The swath of hemp fabric strung taut around my cheeks and tied in a knot behind my head is chafing against the corners of my mouth. Ew. There's a bitterness on my tongue. I idly wonder if it's the taste of regret. My 2 armored squirts right ahead of me, exchanging hushed words. I make a short, unhappy noise to contribute to the conversation. They ignore me. But are you sure, sir? Really, are you? Shouldn't we stop and make camp before sundown, sir? The younger guardsman is jittery and demanding, with a stooped posture that reminds me of Wrath. His round face is marked by pockmarks and worry lines. No need. We're making good time. The other guard, as old and large as a cavern wall, has a deep, crusty voice well suited to his frame. I once saw him struggle to fit through a door. The pockmarked guard glances towards the horizon line, gritting his teeth. But sir, enough. We will be rid of her today. Be rid of me like being rid of some piss-stained drug? How rude. What did I ever do to warrant such objectification? Feeling vexed, I continue to groan and yowl against the hemp between my teeth. It's inarticulate and far from the most graceful sound I've ever made, but I make it sound increasingly urgent. Noise and more noise. One of them pulls the reins on his horse, dismounting with dull armored clatter, like a rattling dish cabinet. It's the younger one. Good. He approaches me, muttering swords as he reaches back to yank the gag from my head. What, convict? What is it now? Oh, can I save? I can't save. Okay, perfect. There we go. Now back. Most people buy me a drink before they bring out the gag. Okay. I see. I see what kind of MC we are this time. You're all ingrates. You hear me, low-browed, barbaric boneheads, the whole lot of you. I don't think this would do me really any good. Oh, and her expression changes depending on what you answer. I like that. Interesting. Most people buy me a drink before they bring out the gag. Stop it. He hisses the words low under his breath. Through his ear through his ears glow a treacherous shade of tomato red. It wasn't funny the first time, and it won't be funny the next time. There won't even be a next time at the rate we're going. I can say it again pretty fast, I think. God, so you really haven't learned your lesson. What's wrong with you? He almost sounds amazed. If my hands weren't tied, I'd roll my wrists and do a curtsy. So instead, I sidle up to him, reaching out to brush my knuckles near his waistband. What's wrong? I wager you know exactly what's wrong. No, well, me, a prisoner. Okay. I got confused for a second there, sorry. I was under the impression we'd moved past ritualistic sacrifice as civilization, you see. I thought we were better than all this. Yet here your knuckleheads are, dragging me through the woods to feed me to a god-forsaken vampire. I stomp on a branch when I get close enough. The ensuing crack obscures the sound as I I don't know how to read this word. Unsheath the dagger from his belt. I palm it under my sleeve in a quick motion, hoping my ruse goes unnoticed. The guard stumbles away from me. He draws his sword to keep me at bay, snarling. Okay, give me a second, guys. There. He draws his sword to keep me at bay, snarling. You keep away, you heretic. Don't come near me. I raise my bound wrist in front of my chest, widening my eyes to look appropriately frightened. And I still have his dagger. By the time he clambers back onto his horse, his older companion extends an arm and smacks the back of the young guardsman's head. Idiot. Now I have to listen to her belly aching for the rest of the journey. Belly aching? Do we? The younger guard rubs his head, sounding defensive. She's got nothing but trouble. Oh, she's got nothing but trouble. Why not slit her throat and be done with it? Let the wildfire take care of the remains. Ah! The old guard hits him again. I find humor in this slapstick routine if they weren't discussing my human demise. Shush, boy. We guard Her Majesty's orders to the letter. You and I, no shortcuts. You know the severity of our laws. Underhanded practice will cost you your damn hands. The pockmarked guard hunches further at the shoulders. His eyes dart around like he wants to argue, but he begrudgingly clamps his mouth shut. I, on the other hand... Sorry. I choked there. I, on the other hand, have a dark penchant for making my observations known, and I'm blessed with quick retorts. Or it just cuts the fingers, if you're lucky. I notice our wise old man here is missing a digit or two. I raise my restrained palms, wiggling at my fingers. They glower balefully at me. I've seen actual battlefields, Harlot. Do not liken me to your crooked brawling ilk. But what did we do that they're so, pissed at us? Convict, heretic, and now Harlot. Wonderful. I roll my eyes and wrinkle my nose at him. I'll bet anything that the old man is lying. Olivia hasn't waged any wars in the past half-century. Furthermore, he boasted to my jailers that he's been assigned to dispose for the brunt of his service to the crown. But I know better than to push my luck with him. He's more prone to violence than the other guardsmen. I used to lag behind at the start of the journey, defiant and stubborn. The old one never hesitated to yank the rope around my wrists, lurching me right into brambles and sharp stones. Defying him, I learned, meant having scraped palms and knees at best. I'm gonna sip more coffee because I'm not properly computing today. Her pace carefully slows when he crosses over a mossy log and a series of thick, tangled roots. For the horse's sake, of course, rather than mine. I work my jaw in silence for a while, keeping a measured distance behind them. By the way, settings. I think the name is customizable, but I'm not sure if you're supposed to like change it in the menu or something, or if at some point in the game it lets you. Oh well. My grip on the dagger is wildly and clumsy. Aiming it toward my bonds is trickier than I imagined. I flinch as the pointed tip jabs against my inner arm, but shoot the guards a winning smile when they turn to look at me. So, good old Curse Forest, huh? Hello, Con! Welcome! No worries. I was actually wondering if you were gonna stop by. It's been a little bit since the incident with YouTube and all of that. Welcome, welcome. Did you volunteer to escort prisoners through the blighted brush, or was it an inherited post? Father's father and such? The polemark guard scoffs and mimics my words under his breath. Nothing to fear in these old woods, lass. Not if you're properly armed. Nothing but bears and wolves. Robbers steer clear because they fear what lies in wait beyond. Surely you know that much. People. I can't read today. I'm like, my brain is very scattered. Because I guess a lack of sleep, maybe. Probably. The caffeine's gonna take a while to kick in. The men don't deign to tell me how they were assigned to their roles. None of my business, I suppose. Can I take credit for the bot not working? I mean, if you want. I don't think that was the case, but but if you want. The intrusive thoughts won in a different way. Oh. The light blinked for a second in my room. That's not good. Oh boy. Okay. An overhead canopy of leaves parts, allowing patches of sunlight to hit my scalp and cheek. The journey has been long and exhausting, but not altogether difficult. I'd even consider it idyllic from its perpetual backdrop of birdsong and distantly running water. Any sense of leisure sinks and coils at the pit of my stomach as I realize the birds have gone silent, and the sound of the water has risen to a dull roar. Before us is a musky disk of water blemished green with algae, long miles wide, and harrowingly uncertain depth. A jagged, ostentatious estate protruding from the ground like a sword through someone's back looms across the water's expanse. Oh, it's raining outside. Not the first decrepit castle I've seen in my travels, but perhaps it may be my last. So we're a prisoner, we don't really know what we did, and they're taking us to a castle as a sacrifice for a vampire, and that's pretty much all we know. That's where I'll be staying then? Home sweet home? Shit, I barely turned to a quarter of my restraints. Even if I make a break for it now, they'd run me down on a horseback. I tried it before, back when they marched me through the greater plains and nearly trampled me into paste. Trampled me. Quiet down, you sorry lass. You might wish to take this time to consider your last words. That's not a bad idea. I could hit you with a real singer before I go. The old guard groans, mumbling a bitter prayer. I barely have time to hide the dagger before he dismounts and shoves me with more force than necessary. He loads me unceremoniously into a ramshackle little boat, leaving the pockmarked guard to deal with me while he tends to the horses. My breath catches when the remaining guard takes the seat opposite to me. His gawky movements nearly makes the boat capsize before we've even left the shore. Yeah, spoopy. The boat got I can't speak. Why am I having such trouble reading today? The boat cuts through all gay like a knife. Over and dry land. The old guardsman takes a heavy seat in the grass as he watches the sun descend. It's a more serene view than he deserves. I take a deep breath and open my mouth to shout. Huh? Oh, okay. The intrusive thought swims. Sorry, I was taking a sip of coffee. Stab him. I don't know if it would give us the option, but I would. What I like about this, as I was saying earlier, is that, I don't know about this one, yeah, her expression changes sometimes, depending on the answer you get. Overgrown prune, you old bastard. I think this one is like more aggressive than the other. And what would he do? Like, we're already on our way to our demise, apparently, so let's go with overgrown prune. The young guard bites back a chuckle and clears his throat. I suppose he's freer to find revelry now that we're at a safe distance away. As I wearily crane my neck around, I observe how the water completely surrounds the estate. That makes this a moat. But there, curiously, isn't a drawbridge in sight. At its northeast and westward edges, the moat connects to a river. Following one side will likely lead to one straight to the Ruffian Ocean. It's quite lovely, really, to be surrounded by such a wealth of natural water. Shame I never learned how to swim. I technically know how to swim, but it's questionable at best, I guess. I don't suppose I can persuade you to ferry me over yonder, all the way around the estate, on the other side of the shore? The guard elects not to reply. He won't even look at me now. Aside from the oars carving through the water, the remaining boat ride is hushed and nerve-wracking. I sit up straight and stock still, trying to keep my weight centered despite the stinging insects nipping at my neck and ankles. Stinging. I can swim. Take us out of here, Con. Although, I think her hands are restrained, so it would probably be futile anyways because she would sink. And it's harder to swim with like more weight on you, so she's screwed anyways. The sun turns red as it dips closer to the horizon. It takes half an hour to reach the other side, if not longer. Beyond the lip of the water is a carved ledge with a bit of trenches surrounding the state spreader mirror. Oh. The guard wastes no time forcing me upright and pushing me off the side. I fall into a roll, barely cushioned by the impact of grassy mud. I aim myself back up with effort, ready to yell the insult boiling at the tip of my tongue. To my surprise, the young guard is still up there, lingering at the edge. Just float. Okay, let's save. I didn't save in the last one, but I don't really think it makes any difference, but yeah, she's probably in like chains, so I think she would just sink probably, or even then, like floating just like that, like where would you go? How would you like move from one place to another if you can like properly take like impulse to move? Miss me already? Hesitating doesn't make you better than him. I like the flirty answer, like the first one we gave. But this time, like, miss me already, he would just be like, oh, whatever. This one I feel like we would like hit him more, so I'm gonna answer this. Hesitating doesn't make you better than him. With sun setting behind the guardsman, his features are cast in unreadable shadow. His fingers twitch and tap at his side. He casts an uneasy glance over his shoulder before, finally, he grumbles and rummages through his overcoat. From it, he pulls out the neck of a familiar instrument and throws it onto the ground with me. I cry out as my lute lands in the mud, nearly falling onto my shoulder as I reach and fail to catch it. You'll owe me in your next life, convict. I hope this accursed thing provides you some comfort in your final moments. Oh yeah, we're a bard. I forgot. I don't know. Imagination. I glare up at him. Old guy made me nervous, didn't he? All that talk about cutting off hands for being underhanded. Shut up. I knew you were acting jumpy for a reason. I just knew it. You were gonna pawn off my poor little beauty here, but now you don't want to risk getting caught with it. Hard luck. He spits at me before he hurries away. I listen for the sound of the boat sloshing into the water, and then the creak of oars shortly thereafter. Now, why is it that when people don't know how else to argue with a woman, they must remark on how frequently she has sex? Valid question. With effort, I dislodge the dagger from the inside of my sleeve. It's still unwieldly. How do you pronounce that? I'm like Megamind. I just read words, I don't pronounce them, and thus when I have to say them out loud, I'm like, how? School. Ito, unwieldy. Google Translate, help me please.
Unwieldy.
Unwieldy. Oh, unwieldy. Okay, unwieldy. But cutting myself loose is a little easier when I don't need to hide the blade from my captors. There's our loot. Well, I can't read. I pick up my lute, carefully wiping off the dirt and green before I check and adjust its strings. Is it not broken? Because if they just... Well, I mean, it wouldn't just break from tossing it away, but it would like at least get out of tune. Instruments are very... Why is my head all the way over there? Instruments are... Hello, model. There we go. I guess you could say instruments are like very... I was gonna say sensitive, but the word is fragile. They're very fragile. So that's why you have to like treat them with care and love. And a place that's not too hot nor too cold. Anyway. I holster it across my back where it belongs. It's thankfully intact, but I'm not sure I can say the same about myself. Yeah, probably not. I know I need to come up with a plan. I need to explore and get familiar with my surroundings. Seek out a hiding spot while there's still daylight. But my entire body is aching. I won't get far if I push myself to move now. I think your neck broke, right? I mean, that happens every now and then. It's fine. It just like gets like it snaps back together into place with a little like tweaking. I think the caffeine is starting to kick in. I check the inside of my clothes for the last of my possessions, kept safe and hidden under the lining. I've never been more grateful to have learned invisible stitching. Okay, you're officially better at English than me. And English is not my first language. Come on, what do you mean? A handful of coins and my songwriting journal are all I have left. I mean, I don't think money would serve us here. There doesn't seem to be like a village or anything where we could use it. I had hidden a number of small blades on my person, but I was too reckless in my previous escape attempts. I kept getting caught and they confiscated all of my knives. The guardsman's dagger isn't too shabby at least. I tucked the blade into my belt, careful not to poke myself. I'll be ready to use it when it's dark. The ledge I fell from casts a long shadow. I edge away from it into the remaining light and I concentrate on taking deep, rejuvenating breaths. No, you're not dumb. This creature of the night. I've heard it can change its very shape. If it pursues me in the form of some animal, I doubt I can outrun it for long. Can vampires shapeshift? Like, into different things? I can't shapeshift. Excuse me, what kind of vampire is this? Huh? I'd like to know your secrets, mister. It's wisest to save my strength so I can battle whatever form it takes. After all, I'm determined not to go down easily. Rhapsodic introductions. How many chapters are there, I wonder? Dusk falls. There's barely... Oh, dusk fell, indeed. There's barely a silver of apricot orange glowing across the horizon, which means my shoulder of light dims and shrinks by the minute. I shiver at the evening cold as the evening cold burrows under my clothes, and I sense the vampire just moments before I hear it speak.
Well, well.
It's
another
voiced
gift from the crown.
He has a voice. They can shapeshift. I mean, I know they can shapeshift into bats, but other than that, huh? Maybe I have untapped power and I didn't know it. The creature's airy serpentine voice moves around me as it prowls beyond the perimeter of remaining light. It's watching me, circling me like a vulture.
What grievous crimes you must have committed to be sent all the way.
Hey there. I can see you barely. Hide. Voice from the shade. I was gonna say something and I forgot. I draw my dagger, pointing it at the source. Voice acting, right? Oh, I remember now what I was gonna ask. I was wondering the same thing. Like, he asked, what crimes did we commit to be sent here? I'm wondering the same thing, mister.
Assessing your dinner, beast?
Oh, and now there's voice
I
acting on my
should have
part.
taught you not to play
okay.
with your food.
Okay. Sudden, but okay. The voice lapses into a contemplative hum. My heart hammers against my ribs as I lose track of the vampire in the silence. Oh, it's darker now. I twist around, catching sight of its eyes reflected in the moonlight right when it lunges. Whoa. Okay, that looked funny. The vampire snatches me by the wrist. The skin on its dark clawed hand bubbles under the waning sunlight before it wrenches me into the shadows. My dagger clatters to the ground.
You're talkative.
Well, great.
I usually like it when they're talkative.
Oh no.
But yours is an insolent nature. No doubt you've ended up here by disrespecting some
She
local
killed a guy.
authority.
We killed a guy? The vampire hoists my arm over our heads. Oh. I scrutinize him in return, but he bears similarities to a human man, but I steal a glance upward, observing his already healed hand with dismay.
You smell of chain rust, fresh soil, dried blood, and incense.
Yeah,
Incense?
I'm a big hit with nuns and orphans.
Huh? What am I doing? This isn't time for banter. I struggle in his grasp. What did you mean by that, miss? 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 Oh, you're guessing what she did. Probably, maybe? I don't know, by the insults they called me, I don't know. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I'm a big...
Wait, what am I doing? He steps forward and we remain blanketed under the gloom of darkness. Okay. There's a small clatter underfoot as he drives his boot under my dagger, kicks it upright, and then snatches the blade out of the air in a fluid motion. Ooh. He twirls the dagger between his long fingers,
Most
praising it.
unusual. Few of my guests manage to
I know.
God,
God, I'm not sure what she means by that. I'm as puzzled as you are. I'm like, what? Most unusual. Few of my guests manage multiple immunities to escape their bonds. Okay.
If I had to wager, you must be a talented cut purse. Which wouldn't be the worst offense, all things considered.
Stop manhandling me!
Okay. With my free, open palm, I smack him across the face and yank my captive hand free. He flinches at the blow, looking more astonished than anything. I don't stay long enough to watch how he reacts next. I run. My lungs are heavy in my chest, and my body is screaming at me to catch my breath, but I can't stop now. There's nothing I can use in the courtyard. My only choice is to head into the estate and hope to find a means of escape. There's got to be a ladder or something I can use to scale that damn ledge. Then I just need to find something buoyant, like a wood panel or a door, something. I run down dizzying identical hallways. Down several cavernous rooms, displacing dining chairs and overturning salon and tables and overturning salon and tables in my wake. But there's nothing I can use to escape, nothing I can narrow down in my panic. He looks very smug to be in a panic. All the while the vampire follows me with an even stride. He rubs his cheek with narrow eyes.
Will you slow down? This is terribly tedious.
No.
Okay. He hasn't changed his shape, but I know how quickly he can pounce if I let him near. I can't let him get close. I topple a nearby cabinet, sending it careening onto the floor between us. These are a lot of words that I don't know how to pronounce. My god. The vampire makes a small offended noise amid the sound of crashing glass. Before he can react further, I see the standing boss. I've never known how to pronounce this one, but because it's always like in debate if it's boss or base. I'm gonna say base. And hold it aloft, ready to throw.
Stop it. Calm down.
I bet it's like a family heirloom, and that's why he's like, oh, wait, don't destroy that. I pivot my grasp on the lip of the boss, bending my arms menacingly. Water and flowers slush into the floor.
You dare to tell me to calm down? Really?
Why does he look like the dollar store Doctor Strange? oh, he kind of looks like Doctor Strange, doesn't he? I don't know. The dollar store Doctor Strange. I don't know, but even he has a little bit like a voice like Doctor Strange. There's an audibly muffled sigh when the vampire staples his hands in front of his nose.
I despise the chase. Look at this blasted mess.
I mean, yeah, he's gonna have to clean that up after he does whatever he wants to do with you. So.
Do you realize no one else lives here? After you're gone, who do you think has to clean up the remains of your rampage?
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
He and I are on the same wavelength.
Are you criticizing the way I'm fighting for my life?
You must understand, mortal. Despite what the good people of Illuvia will have
Illuvia is the name of the kingdom,
have no
huh?
bestial compulsion
It's vase, like
to take your
vase.
life. Alright?
Okay. I mean, I've heard it, like, pronounced both ways, so. Anyway, sorry, I was drinking coffee. I have no bestial compulsion to take your life.
Though
Okay.
I'll admit you have sorely tempted me with the prospect of your demise, there is a civilized alternative worth considering.
And that is? A civilized alternative to becoming a withered, bloodless corpse decorating his hallway? Bloodless. I keep the base aloft, halfway between willful rebellion and certain curiosity.
That is all I ask. First of all, this here.
He jangles the dagger from between two fingers, as if it's a dirty sock he found in my chamber.
As a show of good faith, I will return to you this nasty little thing. In exchange, you will not stab me with it.
Also, would he die if we stab him with it? Or would he just be like, ouch, rude? Which would probably be my reaction, but... because vampires don't just die when you stab them. So... what would be the point? Just getting some time, buying some time to maybe run away, but you don't really have anywhere to run?
Its blade is neither sharp nor long enough to kill me.
Oh yeah,
but
okay,
it
so he
will
answered my
deeply
question.
annoy me.
Thank you, mister.
If I'm deeply annoyed, I will be forced to rescind my good faith and tear you to
Also, he has
shreds.
claws. Those are cool looking claws. I want some claws like that.
Understood?
Okay, sure. I furrow my brows, but I nod. It makes sense. If I actually want to incapacitate him, I at least need a larger weapon. I've yet to hear any myths where vampires are notoriously weak to standard cavalry daggers.
Good girl. Here.
Oh no, don't call me that, please. He tosses the dagger over to me. It slides along the floor until I stop it with the heel of my boot. I don't bend to pick it up.
Our next matter at hand is the barter.
Barter?
I've been known to spare and set my prisoners free in exchange for knowledge or for an item of substantial value.
Oh, so that's why no one's here. It's not that he killed them. It's that he set them free, then.
Fortunately for you, I noticed the loot strapped to your back while you were racing through my abode.
Oh no. I pivot my torso away, trying in vain to hide the instrument from sight.
Come now, don't be selfish. Give it to me and you will have your freedom.
Oh, he just wants the loot? Really?
Your life will be yours again. Keep away from Illuvia and lay low for several years. And the crown will be...
I mean, yeah, I guess they would forget about you, but...
What?
What? I don't trust this guy. I think he's being like genuine, but I'm still like I don't get why would he just want the loot. So I've cared for it ever since I was a little girl. How can I possibly give it up now?
I can't give it to you. No.
Because otherwise you could die?
I nearly lost once already.
Nothing is stopping you from purchasing a new one once you have your freedom. Certainly you have to
True.
save up
I mean,
for a while.
I know things
I
have
recognize the
sentimental
value of an
value.
average instrument,
I get it.
let alone how
I
much
do
an artist's
cherish a
loot
lot of
must
things
cost now after
that are
centuries of
from
inflation.
when I was
However,
younger.
you'll have plenty of chances to...
But I mean, an instrument, you can buy a new one. It's expensive, but you can get another one if you like weighed it against your life. I think it's okay. Death is just an illusion. Oh yeah, he mentions that certainly you'll have to save up for a while. I recognize the value of an average instrument, let alone how much an artisan lute must cost now after centuries of inflation. Oh boy, wouldn't I know about that? However, you will have plenty of chances to...
No. I said I won't give it to you.
Why not?
He's so upset that she doesn't want to give him the loot. Why is he angry at me? Hypocrite. I raise my voice to match his tone. I can't help it. I get competitive.
You imply me to be insensitive on the grounds of trampling through your home, but what about you? Demanding my only means of providing for myself.
Your only means? Nonsense. You're able-bodied, young,
far from hideous.
Once you have your freedom, I'm quite certain you'll figure something out.
Oh, he shows his fangs. Nice.
Your venerable age must have impaired your hearing then, vampire. Because I'm not sure you quite caught it when I repeatedly said no.
Yeah, maybe vampires had inflation, right?
Giving it to you.
Fine. Then you're not leaving.
Okay. This gives me Beauty and the Beast vibes. I don't know why. Like the whole you can't leave. You shall not pass. He flings his hands skywards, turning and sulking toward the nearest window.
I pray you'll have fun rotting here for the remainder of your brief and miserable existence, mortal. At which point you and I might have something in common.
Why are you here? Oh. He vanishes. He's like me. He can disappear out of thin air. Like this. Hold on. Where is it? Okay. Like this. Woo. And then appear again. Woo. He's just like me for real. He erupts into a vicious flurry of mist. Once the smoke clears, I see the flapping outline of a bat soaring out of the window and into the night. Oh. So he turned into a bat. Okay. I groan between gritted teeth, jostling the stupid vase that I'm still holding over my head. I say we just open all the curtains. I think there's not even curtains, it's just that it's really dark. I mean, maybe he would burn with the sunlight, I don't know. As tempting as it is to smash it, I set it down and begin gathering the displaced flowers with a dejected sigh. The blooms are vibrantly fresh and fragrant, but they're going to wilt without water. Gods, I just got into a screaming match with the vampire and upset him so much that he had to, I don't know, go take an angry nap? I'm still alive. I should really count this as a win, but I don't know, my chest is tight with apprehension. Because you don't really have anywhere to go, so Damn it. God damn it. What have I done? I should have offered to barter with something else. I doubt he'd be interested in the few coins I have, and I can bear to part with my music, but he did mention an option to trade knowledge. Even if he's had centuries to experience the world around us, surely there's an obscure nugget of wisdom I can impart. After all, I like to think that everyone I meet teaches me something new. I'll have some leverage if I can figure out what he already knows. And if I can't, then I need to find something else to protect myself. The dagger will be of little use aside from cutting rope. Okay. Stray Dog Serenade. Chapter 3. This one is actually going by a little faster than I expected. I mean, I did some digging before to see if we could maybe beat it in one stream, but I like where this is. I like how this is developing, is more what I wanted to say. There we go. Night seems never-ending as I creep through the estate. The vampire hasn't shown himself since our earlier squabble, though his absence does little to assure my nerves. As any prey animal knows, the deadliest predator is the one you don't see coming. Exhaustion weighs against my eyes, but adrenaline keeps me on edge, pulsing through my veins like a heavy drum. The slightest shift of wind-blown curtains makes me jump. I keep expecting those moonlit eyes to be watching when I return. I say we explain capitalism. Didn't we mention that? When was it last time? Yeah, Neko para that it was a game for explaining capitalism and also the rebellion of the cat boys against society and stuff like that. Are we gonna make a capital every game an explanation for capitalism? Does he truly mean to sulk for the remainder of the night? I suppose I should count my blessings while I can. As I explore, I notice how each successive chamber is spotless and immaculately tidy, aside from the furniture I disturbed, which I take the time to straighten. I uncover an abundance of books crowding the shelves and various surfaces. They contain an array of technical topics, including geography, astronomy, invocation, and mathematics. Yeah, sorry, I missed the second stream of it. I had work. Yeah, no worries, no worries. It was actually a very short stream because I also needed to get some stuff done, so yes, capitalism is everywhere. I mean, true. I guess it makes sense. Yeah, capitalism invades our lives. For better or for worse. Ito to. There we go. I was just checking something real quick. But yeah, I kept that stream short because I also had things to do afterwards. And I accidentally ignored someone and I felt really bad. Because my chat on my phone was broken for some reason. It just wouldn't load and I wasn't looking at it. And then when I looked at it, there were some messages and the person was gone and I was like, oh no. And I felt really bad. But yeah, it's fine. They're all dog-eared and full of notes. Don't tell me he's read every book in the estate. Probably. I mean, it doesn't seem like he has much to do here. I can't panic yet. I can still narrow this down. Assuming he takes the time to clean his most frequent spaces, I ought to pay attention to what is and isn't covered in dust. Yet, even locating a single cobweb presents a unique challenge. I set a book down, running my hand across the marble exterior of an engraved fireplace. Even this is pristine, unmarred by old ashes and leaking flames. The nearby fire iron, at least, is an encouraging sight. I pick it up to give it a gentle swing, testing the weight, and wince when my arm throws in protest. Yeah, you're still hurt. I'll have to remind myself to use my non-dominant hand. So my left hand? The fire iron has a dull tip that's unlikely to pierce skin, but a decisive strike should send anyone reeling, even an immortal creature of the night. Oh no, YouTube streams have been weird. Actually, no, I'm taking credit for that. You weren't even there, Colin. How would you take credit for that? But yeah, YouTube streams have been a little bit weird recently. I don't know why. It also happened to me in other streams, like from other people that I was watching sometimes. So, yeah, maybe they're doing like some maintenance and stuff, updates, because it's usually when they do those that things start to get like a little weird for everyone at different like points. So yeah. Of course, pissing him off by whacking him in the head is a last resort. I'm more interested in jabbing the fire iron into the ledge outside and using it as a handhold to climb my way up. The idea might sound absurd, but it could work. I won't know until I try. Although, even if I successfully scale through the ledge, I still have to defeat the moat somehow. My gaze wanders across the chamber. If someone is wealthy enough to build a castle, they usually enjoy surrounding themselves with the larger-than-life portraits. One would think that I have found a big enough painting to pry off the wall and right across the moat by now, but the decor is tragically modest. As I move to lower my arms, a golden gleam reflects off the dark metal of the fire iron. The intuitive thoughts are everywhere. That's how. The intrusive thoughts are everywhere. That's how. I pivot my shoulders with cautious hope. There, thin rays of dawn light gleam through the dawn curtains. My body practically moves on its own. I march to the window and wrench the curtains open. Morning day fills the chamber. I'd never been happier to see the sun peeking over the mountains like an old friend. Though, the moment the curtains shift, a small beige shape moves with it across the floor. A rat? I hate rats. I've always been scared of them. Got D&D again today, but dropping by anyway. Hey Zoe! Welcome! Thanks for stopping by. No worries. I promise I'm still working on the Discord server. I just haven't time to sit down and properly set up the bots. Once that's done, I promise I'll open it. It's just taking more than I expected. I've been very busy lately. But thank you for stopping by. When I hop away from the shape, I observe how it doesn't continue to move. I bend to inspect it, using the fire iron for support. It's just a foiled scrap of parchment, brown and frail with age. Yet it's an unusual sight, consider how free of dirt and clutter the rest of the room is. Would you look at that? He's finally missed a spot. I suppose the vampire doesn't enjoy cleaning under the curtains, lest the sun sneak up on him unawares. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting when it's finally open. It's just taking a bit longer. But I'll have it ready, don't worry. I turned the paper over, noticing the smudge of charcoal rubbing off on my thumb. Not the charcoal! That's why I don't like using charcoal. It's so easy to like smudge it and fall off. Unless you use like I think there are like sprays to like prevent it from doing that, but I don't know any of that. So yeah. There are curtains, yeah, there are. Apparently. Part of a larger drawing? Maybe even one of those enormous portraits I'm sorely missing. I'm sure it's worthless, but no harm holding onto it. Perhaps the vampire will appreciate my help in tidying up. Just open them and run during the day. I mean, I think it's starting to be morning already, so she already opened one of them, but we don't really know if the vampire is actually sensitive to the sun. Because according to usual vampire lore, he should be, but he might not be. Maybe he's like Edward and I, you know? He glitters in the daylight. I glitter in the daylight. It's a possibility. But then again, I'm just half a vampire, not a full vampire, so I guess I wouldn't know. The bloom of sunlight fixed in the sky through... The bloom of sunlight fixed in the sky, though refreshing to see, also serves as a reminder of how much time has passed, of how little sleep I've gotten. There won't be a better time to get some rest. I look about the chamber one final time. To be surrounded by various furnishings is a mystifying sort of torture. Despite how all those nights of sleeping on the ground have left me yearning for the comfort of a cushion, I know I can't sleep here. The vampire needs only to close the curtains to cause me in my sleep. Back outside I go. I mean, might as well check on my demons, so I just don't like sunlight. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of sunlight either, but it doesn't kill me, so. The days are long this time of year. I'll have plenty of time to try climbing the ledge when I wake. I grab a decorative pillow from the sofa. It's not much, but it will make my cobblestone bed a little more bearable. I retrace my steps through the estate and practically collapse into the first ring of sunlight I find. I awake from a dreamless, restless slumber into the cold of evening. Sitting up with a jolt, I scan the sky with mounting dismay. Sundown again already? How could I have slept for so long? Because you are exhausted and haven't slept in who knows how long. My stamina is spent. I won't be able to run the way I did yesterday. No, damn it. It feels like the very shadows are reaching for me, streaking across the ground like long claws. And speaking of claws, from the shade nearby, the vampire looks down at me with flat displeasure. Oh god. Here comes the voice acting again. My fingers curl instinctively around the fire iron. Oh, he's not talking. Okay. You're still here. On the ground, no less. Where else would I be? Why, I figured you would have climbed up to the roof, run some mental calculus to determine the best angle of approach, and then leapt into the moat to swim to freedom. A beat passes as I stare at him. Yes, that would be very practical, but anyone who tries it would surely splatter against the rocky ledge below. Perhaps, and even if they made it into the water, they would discover the alligators in the moat. Alligators? Really? No. What the hell? I think I liked you more when you were menacing me about what crimes I'd committed. She dislikes the taste of her own medicine. Shocking. He folds his arms behind his back as he paces around me. I'm very aware that he can grab and drag me into the shadows if he so desires, but he's choosing not to. He never did tell me what you did to get sent here. You're right, I didn't. We stare at each other now, sharing an ugly pause. But I apologize for my behavior last night, and for making a mess. Truly? He looks as though he's expecting a punchline. Yes, truly. I don't know what it's like to own an estate, but I'm sure it's dreadful having someone run through it. Indeed. Will you tell me what you're planning to do with my fire iron? What, this whole thing? I could lie to him, but I see a little point in it. While I've developed a skill for enthralling an audience with tall tales, it's not as if I can trick them into believing my stories are real. Unless they're children, of course. And the basing vampire hasn't seemed terribly childlike thus far. Florida, my head cannot. Is that... It's a medieval Florida. Probably. I've seen cute alligators in Florida. I mean, I've never gotten, like, super close to them, of course, right? I've just seen them around and been like, oh, cute, but... alligators can be cute. Have you seen pictures? Have any of you seen pictures of how, like, alligators, how they hold their legs in the water, like how they look from, like, the point of view of the water when their heads are, like, peeking out of the water, you know, like the rest of their bodies? It's really cute. Like, you would think that they're, like, holding their weight, like, in all fours, like they're just floating, but actually they're, like, their back legs, like the other two legs they have, it's like they're, like, standing and just peeking out their head from underwater. It's really funny, it's really cute, and it makes them look even less menacing. But of course, if you just, like, go and try to give them a hug, they'll just, you know, snatch your head off with their claws. But it's really cute. Have you ever seen the one of the baby alligator going down the water slide? No, but I bet it's adorable. Wait a second. Baby alligator snapping a turtle. Oh my god, no, I don't want to see it snapping a turtle. Going down water slide. Dun, 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 bum, bum. Cute. It's so funny and it's so small. Cute. I like that. But yeah. Anyway, let's continue. In any case, but I bet there are alligators in other places that aren't Florida, right? I don't know where, but I'm sure there must be more places than Florida. In any case, I'm not a good liar. When one is not a good liar, honesty is by far the better policy. If you leapt at me, I would have tried to swing it at you. No, that's a bad baby alligator snapping turtle. It's an animal. I know. But I also thought I could use it as a handhold to get over the ledge. I cannot begrudge you for your caution against me. But using a fire iron as a handhold, really? The ledge is made of solid stone. But it's old, isn't it? Surely the stone has weathered down over the years. It most certainly has not. You would begrudge me for trying everything at my disposal? I might, if you ruined my fire iron in the process. You need not try such inventive tactics if you agree to barter with me. Right, yes, about that. I'll have you know I'm extremely well traveled. How informed are you about recent history and new discoveries throughout the world? What makes you think I would be interested in such things? You mentioned you were open to trading knowledge. I remember it like it was just yesterday. Ha, but Nolliger snapping turtles are a thing. They're horrifying. Yeah, I know. It's no. It's terrible. I do not like. That's why I don't watch like animal documentaries, because when I see them kill each other, it's like. So I'd rather just stay ignorant. Every 2 years, I receive a new guest at my estate. Each guest has some capacity to tell me news of the outside world. I have previously offered their freedom in exchange, but hearing news of the outside world loses its appeal when one is not welcome to participate in it. But some men and women have nothing else to give. Surely you will not deprive this opportunity from a future guest when you have more to offer than this? My loot feels heavy against my back. What else can I offer that amounts to the price of my freedom? Please, I can't give it to you. He scoffs at me. Just when I thought you were saying sense. But I may yet be as amenable as you have been to me. Last night, I hadn't fully understood that you play music as your primary profession. Not at first. My recent slew of guests have been cutthroats and highwaymen. I forget that I've also housed scientists and artists. I presume you must be good at your craft. As such, you need your loot more than I do. The sudden and unexpected empathy leaves me speechless. He takes my silence as permission to continue. I ought to also admit it has been a very long time since someone has told me no. It irritated me to hear, but it is within your right to say. Forgive me for making it seem otherwise. As if our cordial conversation hasn't been astonishing enough, the vampire inclines his head towards me. You're forgiven, but wouldn't everyone have fought you to the bitter end? I imagine there must have been several no's sprinkled in there. He chuckles wryly. When properly bound and restrained, one's capacity to fight the bitter end is quite limited. I expect this lends itself to making my guests more amenable to negotiation and to giving me anything I should desire. Oh, he really wasn't expecting me to break free of my bonds. Enough of this matter. I propose we approach this from a new angle. What do you want, mortal? If freedom has no strong appeal for you, perhaps you'd be more interested in power? In immortality? Can you turn me into a vampire? Like a full one? Ooh, I don't miss the saccharine way he says the last word. No, I'm fairly sure I do want freedom. I can't imagine what price I'd have to pay for the other two. My stomach rolls. But I could do with some food. Food. Even if I get out of here, the nearest village is miles away. I won't get far on an empty stomach. You would ask a vampire to feed you. A marvelously modest start to our negotiated relationship. Your empty stomach shall be filled. I should have a surplus of blood laying around here somewhere. I mean, I don't think she can have that. I, on the other hand, would appreciate it. Can I be half fire, half vampire, half demon? I mean, if you want to. I mean, I'm a half vampire, half human. So, it is possible. I think. Probably. I think it is. I'm joking. I'm not so old that I've forgotten what mortals eat. Come with me. I mean, 1, it would not fill her belly. 2, blood is tasty, but it has a disadvantage that is like it dries your throat real quick. So she would need to take a lot of water as well if she were to like just ingest blood. And at the end of the day, it's just liquid, so doesn't really do much for nutrients. And satisfying hunger, I guess. I don't know, are vampires demons? Technically, but not quite. You know, at this point, there's like so many different types of vampires. I think they can be whatever they want. I abide by my own rules. He begins to lead the way. I struggle to my feet, but have enough difficulty steadying myself that he pauses and turns to observe me. I end up using the fire iron to help me maintain my balance, like a metal walking stick. Oh, what? Yeah, they are. I mean, technically, yeah. Vampires are kind of like demons, but not necessarily evil. I mean, not every demon is evil, I think. You look pitiful. I'm sure. My apologies for not being the picture of grace after a 9-day hike with a slave-driving guardsman. Now, where exactly did you plan on taking me? The vampire is kind enough to slow his pace and walk with me in parallel tandem, though he stays in the shadows and I in the waning light. So he is... well, at least he can't get close to the sunlight. Good to know. You're astoundingly paranoid. I'm taking you somewhere I can feed you, like we agreed. You mean to feed on me, don't you? No. He says it with such disgust that I gape at him, taken aback. Am I disgusting? Oh, don't even begin to act offended. Have you looked at yourself? Yeah, it's dirty food. It's food that fell on the floor. We don't eat food that falls on the floor. Filthy, dragged through the prison cells and mud. Your taste most certainly will be foul. I bite back a retort about how I'm supposed to taste. More importantly, you're really not going to kill and eat me, ever? Covered in muck as you are, I have no desire to touch you. You doubt me? I don't know, it sounds like you'll attack me the moment I'm clean. And I can't get a read on you. Maybe it's your fetish. Maybe it's your fetish to lure your victims into a false sense of security. How easily you remark one's strange fetishes. I had my suspicions that you were a traveler, but I'm certain now you could not have been raised in Illuvia. No, God, that's not sanitary! Your poor stomach! Ah, yes, beautiful Illuvia, kingdom of ungrateful prudes. They don't appreciate me here at all. I am quite certain they do not. You may have a seat and wait here, though I can't guarantee the chairs won't bite. Very funny. He smirks a little at that, though he turns as if to hide it. The kitchen is nearby. I won't be long. I caught a glimpse of his kitchen during my exploration last night. I noticed it was stocked with well-loved pans and utensils, but I never imagined that meant he used them with any frequency. I expect you'll stay put. Woefully wounded as you are, if you wander off and I can't find you, I'll have to deposit your meal into the moat. Ah, very well. I'll tame my adventurous spirit for the time being. We don't want your imaginary alligators to be fed in my place. You're catching on. Good girl. I don't like it when he calls me that. True to his word, the vampire returns in short order. This chapter has been longer than the others. He sets a tray loaded with roasted roots and grilled perch before me. A simple enough meal, but one of the most beautiful sights I've seen in recent memory. It's not a plate of blood. It is not. Shall I switch it out for you? No, I'll be quiet. I reach for the fork and slice into the fish, excited to savor my first meal in days. I take the first bite and... it's... awful. Some of the prison slobs tasted better than this burnt-over salted tragedy. Even stranger, I taste hints of cinnamon, garlic, and coffee? At this point I have no idea what I'm eating, but I'm too hungry to stop. I must have outdone myself. Don't forget to breathe. Mortals need air in their lungs, I hear. It is delicious, isn't it? No, it's not Florida. No, it's not Florida. My fork pauses against my lips. God, it's really not. Best meal I've ever had. I mean, there's no point in lying, I feel. So, Let's just be like, God, it's really not. This is one of the worst cooked fish I've had in my life, but it tastes better than starvation. The vampire regards me with an unreadable expression. His next words are as slow as they are measured. I've served more than 100 guests in my lifetime. Not a single one of them has described it as, I quote, better than starvation. Without constructive criticism, how will you improve? Surely you will not begrudge me for being honest? The vampire watches me finish my next bite, eyes narrowed. No matter, I care not what you think of my cooking. His lower lip is unmistakably jutted into a small pout, but I don't get to see it for long. Now that I have given you a meal, will you now give me something I want in return? Why do you keep insisting on these inane little traits? He shrugs his shoulders with a touch of derision. How do you pronounce that word? Derision. Is this a dating sim? I'm not sure.
Derision.
Derision. Okay, derision. I had never heard that one before. I think if I remember correctly in the description it said that he is the love interest. But I'm not really sure if they're gonna end up together. Question mark. I mean, I can see it. It's just slightly odd. Let me just look something up. It is actually very, how do you say that word? Enjoyable? I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but it is actually like a very chill visual novel, but in a good way, you know? Like I like it a lot. Even though we've done nothing but like just get to know each other, I guess. I mean, that's kind of the point, right? But I don't know how to explain it. Like it's not like with Nekopara where we're just watching like the story unfold and the characters interact. Like you actually feel a little bit like a part of the story. Like you have a saying what's going on. And I like how they're like not trying to kill each other, they're actually just talking. I don't know, it's nice. For a change. It is in my nature, nothing ventured, nothing gained. No service without a cost. Fine, vampire. Can I interest you in the song? He arches a brow and says nothing, but I can tell I piqued his interest. I've seen your books, all technicality, no whimsy. It must have been some time since you last heard a compelling story. Oh yeah. Bards tell stories through song. Bards are the original musical theater kids. It just dawned on me. They're the original musical theater, like, musical theater kids. Oh my god. I should have been a bard in my old life. Oh well. I shaped my love into my arms, strumming it once for intrigue, a tempting little preview. Very well, Bard. A song in exchange for the meal. I mean, I'm intrusive thoughts. I'm always a part of the story, true. But would you agree with me that in Nekopara there isn't really like much room for intrusive thoughts? I lower my gaze to my lute, having a sigh I didn't know I was holding. Good. I'll just have to play a single song. It's a simple request, one I've fulfilled thousands of times over in several dozen taverns, but the thrill of anticipation is making my fingers jitter. Just yesterday I was grimly certain that I would never perform again. Now I'm performing for the vampire who was supposed to tear me to shreds. I trace a fingernail over a single string. And we still don't know what she did. And I pluck at each string sequentially, testing and tuning in turn. And then I begin to play. The vampire who until now had a personal proclivity for pacing slows and pauses mid-step to watch me with his hands folded on the writing table. My voice turns into the best weapon I've ever wielded, stronger and sharper than a knife on fire iron. Notes trickle from my lungs, rush through my throat, and pour from my lips into a song that floods the room with a tale most forlorn. Apart from what the fuck that world is like, I agree. See? The ballad I've chosen starts melancholic. It follows a young man as life takes from him. His father is the first to be taken. Life got short by a plague. His betrothed the next. Oh no! No, sad love story. His betrothed next, abandoning him for a wealthier man. When he's brutally mocked and left for dead, he feels as though his last remnants of peace have been torn to shreds. I'm still confused about what that orphan comment was about. Wait, which one? He finds himself alone, left behind, forgotten. His mind is swallowed whole by rage and grief and self-loathing, until one day, he decides it's his turn to take. He takes a torch to the stables of his former betrothed. He takes a noble woman's heart with false oaths and pretty words. He takes the world by storm, molding it like wet sand to fulfill his very desire. When I finish the song, I offer the vampire a small bow. She's smiling! Throughout my entire performance, his gaze clung to me like a thorn, never once wavering from my body. What a rich protagonist. You don't like it? It's one of my most requested tavern songs. Ah, how baffling to hear that human men find inspiration in an eccentric finale. There's a version of this song with a female protagonist. And it's not always requested by men. Another unexpected revelation. Although I find the song's message disagreeable, I will concede that you sung it well. Thank you. We lapse into a brief silence, not quite looking at each other. To my surprise, he's the one who speaks next. She said that the orphans and the... Oh, yeah, the orphan thing. Oh, well, the orphans, I think she mentioned they believe her, like, later on. Something about them being the only ones believing her stories. But I don't know about the nuns. That's something I'm not quite sure about yet. This is stage. I often forget what it's like to have more than the sound of my own thoughts. I know of cicadas crying in the night. With nothing to interrupt the passage of immortality, silence can be maddening. He doesn't have music! The true horror, chat. Being alone with one's thoughts and nothing else to distract you from them. That is the true horror. How much do you earn at these taverns of yours? How many songs did it take for you to afford an instrument of that quality? How many songs? I've never thought of it that way. It doesn't really work like that. I looked down at my lute, running my fingers over its surface. It was given to me, which means I never actually had to pay for it, but I don't need to share that with him. Sometimes I compose original songs on commission, which is more time consuming but affords me more gold. As for crowd work, a classic in a well-stocked bar on a good night would net me several dozen coppers and a handful of gold. I suppose that amounts to 100 songs or so, if I combine the two. Of course, saving up for an artistic instrument would take even longer. Yes, 100 songs, you say? 100 songs over 100 nights, and I will ensure you have food, hygiene, and eventual safe passage from the estate. Hygiene? But if I'm clean, you want to suck my blood. Then you can be clean in the day and dirty yourself in the night if it pleases you. Do what you will. Ooh. Isn't that just being deaf? Probably. But they still can, like, not hear, but feel the vibrations of things, so at least that distracts you, I feel. And that's how they usually like develop quote-unquote hearing by the vibrations of things. So I guess they're not really just them and their thoughts? His words hang in the air between us like haze. Despite the numerous opportunities he's had to hurt me, he hasn't laid a hand on me all night. If my safety really is guaranteed, it's a tempting deal to take. Besides, it's not like I have many other options. Just some songs and you'll let me go. You won't try to steal my loot while I sleep. You take me for a common thief? How dare you? Such an appalling accusation when you can clearly see I still have all my fingers. The vampire raises his hands for me to see. The familiarity of the gesture is uncanny. It seemed to me that a powerful vampire like you can recover from serious wounds in an instant. You could once have been amputated at the elbow for all we know. And speaking of vampires, I seem to recall the legend that suggests your kind can't cross running water. Which means you can't leave this estate either, can you? I'm curious to know what crime you committed to be sent here. Enough. I await your song tomorrow. He sends to leave. So he won't tell me his story then. Good night, sweet prince. Don't let the bedbugs bite. I hope you see me in your nightmares. I mean, I don't think there's a need to be hostile anymore, right? Although, that is also a funny remark that I would like to say, but I feel like she would be... Oh, see, she's like kind of snarky here, but here is like more happy. Okay. You realize I'm not going to sleep. I just no longer wish to be in your company. Then I hope the bedbugs do bite you. Keep speaking that way and there might be more biting than you bargained for, mortal. I clamp my mouth shut. He strides to the nearest window. And disappears. As a bat. Like... this! Woo! I'm gone. And then, woo! Wait, woo! I'm back. It's a bad fly over it. Like before, he erupts into mist and takes off into the night in the shape of a bat, but this time he's left me with a half-finished plate of unsauced fish. Chapter 4. Harmonic Conversations. I think we're not gonna be able to finish this one in just one stream, huh? I remember the How Long to Beat told me it was like 2 hours long, but I guess that was a lie. Or I'm just too slow. Probably it's that. There we go. Anyway. Do what you will, the vampire said. I was reluctant to believe it when he gave me a free roam of the state, but his sins made no move to impede me. I was allowed to wander wherever I pleased. I discovered little of note, just more books and the continued absence of dust. Nothing more suspicious than the errant scrap of paper from my first night. All right. Sorry, let me just... No clips to the floor. I'm just turning on my fan because it suddenly got very hot in here. Even though it's fall already. I hope the temperature goes down more as the days go by. Oh yeah, we have that drawing from the first night. Despite my best efforts to distrust him, the vampire only appears to feed me some disgusting fish and claim his song. He stays long enough to make wry commentary sometimes and small talk other times, but in physical proximity he's giving me a wide berth. Song, poof, song, poof. He's polite enough, I suppose, and utterly uninterested in causing me harm. That was enough to move me from a cobblestone bed to a cushioned one. The days soon blend together like the colors of a sunset. Other than my fading bruises and brief performances, there's little to mark the passage of time. I can't turn invisible, okay, so that's as close as I can get. Understandable. monotony of our routine sways my feelings of weariness into restless bustling. Questions swarm in my mind like locusts, and aimless wandering doesn't yield enough fruit to feed them. I like to state my burning curiosity by interviewing my vampire, but I'm not sure how to approach him when he vanishes after my song's final notes. Besides, I still have every reason to sleep with a fire iron wedged under the door handle. Every so often, I'm startled awake by blood-curdling screams. I've ventured out from my room more than once, fire iron in one hand and my dagger in the other. I tracked up the noise to the many flights of stairs, worried I would stumble upon the vampire feasting on an unlucky traveler who washed up the river. But then I would stand at the foot of his coffin for a time, waiting to hear signs of a struggle, waiting to see pools of blood oozing across the floor. But I was always met with an eerie and moving silence. I went back to sleep with my bed pushed against the door each time, determined to keep out whoever or whatever was making these horrible sounds. Although I'm sure I would have run into them by now if anyone else is living in the state. One can never be too careful. Still, as harrowing as those noises have been, sleeping in an actual bed is incredible. I'm starting to feel pampered. The foot still leaves much to be desired, but I have pillows, blankets, and the softest pelled carpet on my floor. A creepy state is undoubtedly better than camping with stinky, surly guardsmen and sleeping on the ground. It's a hassle to shove my bed to and from the door, but I think it's a small price to pay. Brisk, invigorating air fills my lungs as I step into the courtyard. A shiver scuttles across my spine as I settle into dewy grass. I position my songwriting journal in my lap, having recently freed it from my clothes with some careful incisions. I always get lost in thought when I turn its pages. The act of deciding on a song makes my heart swelling with calm contentment. After choosing one of my older pieces, a spirited melody I wrote when I was younger, I wrapped my lute over my shoulder and began to practice. My performances occurred in crowded areas before I came here. I had to compete with the clamor of moving people from passerbys to raucous drunks. Here in the grass, I find myself not needing to fight for coin or attention. I can focus on my music, and nature itself is my ensemble. I sing softly, tuning my rhythm with the shifting trees and the gurgles of the moat. I like to imagine my notes quiet as they are, carrying far into the forest, reverberating down mountains. Performing without an audience? My pulse quickens, startled by the sudden voice. My fingers slip. My next drum is discordantly off key. I squint skywards, trying to make out shapes in the darkness. Reclined across a brick parapet overhead, the vampire stares down at me with his usual flat expression. I slam my journal shut and hide it behind my back. Did you mean to sneak up on me? You'll have to try harder than that if you want to catch me off guard. I mean, he wasn't really trying to catch you off guard if he, made his presence known, right? In an easy, soundless motion, the vampire drops to the ground like a falling feather. He saunters towards me, eyes glimmering like diamonds in the dark. I can assure you that if I were to try harder at such a thing, you would not wish to be the recipient of my attention. And I'll have you know that I was here first. Then I suppose I have disturbed you. I didn't mind. His reply was faster and more decisive than I anticipated. My heart hammers harder against my ribs. What is this? Fear? Am I really afraid of a speedy retort? Ridiculous. In a vain attempt to hide weakness, I hover my hand over my chest. No, I suppose you wouldn't mind a free ballad. Shouldn't you be hibernating in the rafters this time of night? I don't normally perform for another hour or two. Not tonight. He gestures to the night sky. The moon above us looks swollen, rounder and larger than I remember seeing it. Even so, is a mere full moon really so impressive? I part my lips to express my thoughts when a warm shadow inches across the moon's surface, spreading from its left side like a cocoon around a caterpillar. A blood moon! Soon, the moon is as red as the sunset. A glowing rosy marble anchoring the night sky. A blood moon. A total lunar eclipse is the technical term, though you may call it what you like. It only occurs 3 times a year. Imagine being bad at music, haha. Has once managed to poke himself in the eye with a flute and quite big. No! And quit because of it. No! How did you poke your eye with the flute? How? I mean, I guess, but no, because it goes in your mouth. How? It would mean like more common if you like accidentally poke your eye with the string, the bow of the violin or any string instrument that requires a bow, but how? Like, not judging, I'm genuinely curious how. I don't know, that's why I quit. No, I've actually never learned to play the flute. I have one, and I've had it for a long time, but I never really learned how to play it. Maybe that should be a stream someday. Learning instruments that I haven't never really, like, used. Oh no, I'm frozen! Well, hold on. Hehe, Frozen, like the movie. Woo. Hold on. Move! 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 It doesn't move! What is going on? Okay, there it is. Perfect. Woo! Here I am again. Actually, I do know. No, Khan! The people of Bolivia insist that a blood moon is a bad omen, and seeing one during my travels was a foreboding sight. Yet, the vampire watches the moon with such earnest intensity, I fear his admiration for it is contagious. It's beautiful. What does it mean for you? Are you more powerful while it lasts? The vampire barks out a small surprised laugh, and his eyes cut away from stargazing to glance at me. No, not at all. I simply... He folds his arms behind his back. I enjoy the view. The parapet is the best spot to observe the heavenly bodies in the sky. The ground is a close second. Ah. The vampire tilts his head, watching me with an expression I've never seen him wear before. Confused guilt. What? What is it? It's the dagger at my belt. I have been referring to you as a bard and mortal all this time. I don't believe I have ever asked for your name. Ah. I rest my hand over my lute, relaxing somewhat. You're right, we yelled at each other in the hall and never even introduced ourselves. You can call me... Ah, there it is! Bum bum bum. Leo. Leo. Yes. It suits you. A bard by any other name. Oh! Change to the full name. Steam achievement. Does it? He smiles at me enigmatically. You can call me Lucius. Lucius. We both have L names, yay. His name weighs on my tongue like a stone. I never imagined myself learning it. With how often he's alluded to his immortality, it slipped my mind that he must have been human once. It's a humbling thought. Moreover, this is the longest amount of time we've spent without the distraction of music or bartering. He's even feeling affable enough to learn my name. I should try asking him my questions. I may not get a better chance than this. Lucius, if I ask you some questions, will you insist on making it a barter? The vampire doesn't respond for a while. It depends on the question. Is that a guy from Harry Potter? I actually don't know. Isn't that Severus? Lucius, Harry Potter. Oh yeah, it is. Oh, I think it's the... What is that guy's name that everyone ships Harry Potter with? Malfoy, Malfoy, Draco Malfoy is the dude, the bad guy. I think it's his dad. I think Lucius is his dad. Yeah, it is his dad. Oh, interesting. But they're not vampires, so I guess it's not the same. Here we go. Yeah, I was right. I mean, if it comes down to Harry Potter, you're gonna know way more about me because I've never watched those. I suppose that's fair. How about this? You don't have to answer a question if you don't want to. I can move on to the next one, and we'll talk for as long as you're willing to entertain me. Ah, now I'm the one entertaining you, and at the generous cost of nothing? What an amusing turn of events. Oh, no, that's him. I'm surprised you're so eager to talk to me. I believe you said something about the maddening silence of eternity. I began to understand what you meant. I see. Ask your questions then, Leo. I will not ask for you to trade your possessions, but I might like to quell my own curiosity in exchange. He agreed. I wet my lips with anticipation. There's sometimes this noise. It sounds like screaming. That doesn't sound much like a question. I'll rephrase. What? The source of the noise will not hurt you. It is now your turn to answer my question. Oh. Con 1, Universe Infinite. The haste with which Lucius changes the topic is unexpected, but not altogether unwelcome. He did sate my curiosity to a degree. Tell me something. As a bard, what do you know of the stars? A simple question that leads to a comprehensive answer. Wise play, vampire. I observed the pinpricks of light above us, winking in and out of the menu cover. The what is that word? English?
Mauve.
Okay, mauve. Ooh, interesting. I observed the pinpricks of light above us, swinging in and out of the mauve cover of night. I don't remember the last time I relaxed enough to admire the moon. Before my arrival here, looking at the stars meant I wasn't looking over my shoulder. I needed to watch my own back, keep myself safe and alive. Though I sang of beauty and adventure, it seemed pointless to actually indulge in such things. I was far more focused on where I would lay my head or earn my next coin. How strange to be able to indulge in stargazing now with the vampire standing nearby. I traced different patterns in the sky, moving with practiced ease between each dot. I don't know how this works, honestly. I mean, fair. I feel like they were more like, maybe not necessarily like Old English, but like more refined or, like formal words that we don't use every day, like to refer to things. That is very common in language, so that's why it's like sometimes. I mean, it also happens with Spanish, so I get it. The horned serpent always points north. Even as its body shifts, it still will tell you where you've been and where you must go. Ah yes, the horned serpent. Anything else? It's harder to navigate using the others, but I know a few stories. This box-shaped cluster is the treasure trove of the goddess Melandrenal. Supposedly it contains every possession humans have lost throughout their lives, and I draw my finger between the 7 brightest stars in the sky. That's the first king's crown. The stories say that... I don't know that word.
Bequeathed.
Legacy. Okay. The stories say that he bequeathed it to the heavens. an offering to the gods to keep his bloodline on the throne. It's actually funny, Illuvia hasn't had a king in centuries, and it most certainly isn't his bloodline anymore. It seems the gods played a nasty trick on him. Lucius chuckles. Such a low and abrupt sound that I lose my train of thought. They may have indeed. Leo, I may yet to know a story that you do not know. Shall I share it with you? I arch my eyebrow at that. Who says I don't know the story? You're being unfair, vampire, making me play guessing games. Lucius, right, you're being unfair, Lucius. And tell me this, Leo. Do you know the story of when the star sphere first appeared? This is how you get better at English than me. There's a story behind that? Aside from the idea that each one was placed in the sky by the gods, I suppose I don't know this one after all. I knew it. Oh, don't gloat. Are you going to share the story with me or not? He lets out another low chuckle before he deigns to continue. I'm turning on my fan again. I suppose no one knows for certain how the stars were created, but one of my guests shared with me a tale from his homeland. Unlike the self-serving stories Illuvia dictates to its children, his kingdom believes that humans were not always a picture in our realm. He believed that once, a very long time ago, the world existed in an endless night, a quiet pitch black quilt of eternity, unbroken by a castle's spires and bonfire smoke. When humans began roaming the earth, they would hold their newborns up to see the divine darkness. The stars above them, dotting the skies in this peaceful holy world, were believed to befriend these infants and provide protection. The stars were there when we first arrived, and they will persist long after we're gone. That is what he believed. I mean, makes sense. Thus, watching the night sky is when we are closest to glimpsing what it was like at the beginning of the world, and what it will be at its end. Oh gods, did your guest earn his freedom with this story? I would have given it to him, yes. His cryptic phrasing gives me pause, and Lucius falls quiet. His gaze remains transfixed on the sky. Meanwhile, I'm having trouble tearing my eyes from him, and from the melancholic air he wears like a heavy cloak. I don't know how I ever could have missed it before, because I think that sadness has always been there. The more time I spend here, the harder it becomes to see him as a monster Illuvia led me to believe he was. Perhaps that's what makes him dangerous, or perhaps... I shiver again, rubbing my arms as a breeze whisks through my hair and clothes. Lucius turns promptly away from the sky, clicking his tongue at me. If you are cold, head inside. It will be challenging to play a lute with icicles for fingers. No, I'd like to stay out here a little longer. Monsters aren't supposed to watch the sky and tell you stories about where the stars came from. Monsters aren't supposed to spare your life and cook disgusting fish for you. The wrongness of my perception of him is eating away at me. I need to ask him my next question. Were you human once, Lucius? How? It doesn't take him long to pick up where I trail off. How did I turn into this? No, He holds up his hand to stop me. He's not bothered by the exact phrasing of the question. I was human once, Leo. And in many ways, I still am. You're well aware of the standard method of vampiric infection, I'm sure. Be bitten by one, mix their blood with your own. Then there's usually some manner of death or near-death experience, but then, voila, you're a ravenous immortal of night. But I suspect you're also aware that I was not created in the same way as others have been. I'm quite alive other than undead, and I have no sire or coven to compel my allegiance. I was not aware of all that, but from his subtext I gathered that the blood-curdling screams aren't coming from another vampire. Good to know. Additionally, as I hope you've noticed, I have not lost my mortality to bloodlust. it was your most likable trait during our way work first meeting? Good. He catches himself as if he didn't mean to agree with me before he shakes it off. How are you, half vampire? Well, you see... Oh, wait, where am I? Why am I facing the other way? Hello? Neck, please. We've been through this. Just snap together already. Hold on. I'll tell you my story in a little bit. Woo! Come on, just come on. There we go. Okay. Ito... Woo! How am I a half vampire? Well, it's an interesting story. I was born like this. That's it, really. I wasn't bitten. I didn't drink anyone else's blood or anything like that. I was just born like this. Why? I don't know. It's not like my parents are like half and half either. They're just vampires. And I'm half. Just as humans have notable differences, not all vampires are the same. The people of Illuvia are keenly familiar with the ferocity of vampire spawn, who routinely raid their homes and eat their children. Oh god! Wait, hold on. Hold on there. I kind of didn't register what you said before. What? You can't remember? How did I turn into this? Oh, history doesn't let me see past that, so... Was your dad a vampire? Your mom... not? Was your mom bitten before you were born? No, they've always been vampires. I'm just different. Just as humans have notable differences, not all vampires are the same. But the people of Illuvia are keenly familiar with the ferocity of vampire spawn, who routinely raid their homes and eat their children. I do not blame Illuvians for believing the worst of me by proxy, though I do find an occasional amusement in the things they say. Tell me, Leo, what tales are the good people spinning about me these days? Or better yet, have you any theories of your own? Theories of my own? I don't think so. I've heard bits and pieces of vampire lore, but I've never felt the need to speculate. I'd never even seen a vampire before I met Lucius. Then how are you half? I don't know. I just am. Here's the thing, chat. Remember, I think I almost never talk about my lore, but here. I think I've mentioned it only once. But since we're talking about vampires, my backstory is simple. I went through the wrong portal and ended up like like Danny Phantom? Like Danny Phantom? He's half ghost, half human because he went through a portal of sorts? Okay, so here's the thing, chat. I'm not from this dimension, right? I was born somewhere else. But I just happen to be... how do you say this? I've been trapped here. I don't know how long. I don't remember. Because it's been a while. And thus, some memories have started to fade away. So, I still remember some things from my homeland, but others I just don't. So all I can really tell you is I was born like this. But I don't know why. Oh, so you're the other way around. I see. Interesting. I was just born like this. So, I can't really tell you how. I just remember that my parents were both vampires, and I'm just half. And that I've been stuck here for a long time. That's why it catch my attention when he said he had like invocation books, because I messed with those, and here we are. So, you know, never mess around with those if you don't know what you're doing. Because we also have like some, or at least I don't remember if everyone else had it, some magic in bold, but I've never been really able to use it here, so I've also forgotten a little bit about that. But yeah, that's basically how I ended up here. I messed with books I didn't know what they were about because I wanted to practice, and boom, you know? But yeah. There's all sorts of legends about you, but some were more akin to tall tales. People refer to you as a sort of ominous presence or a natural disaster. As for how you were created, as you say, one of the guardsmen who captured me, he believed you stole from the gods. Did I? I'm impressed with myself. How did I manage such a feat? They said you broke into the church's wine cellar and drank your fill. As punishment, the gods cursed you with a voracious appetite for the blood of your own people. I've said before that I'm not a thief, but overindulging in wine does sound like something I do. I've always had a fondness for rats. Basically, I can't do much except face through some things. Stare for a long time and be intruding thoughts. I think your most powerful feature is being intrusive thoughts. And it's fun. But yeah. Maybe actually, you know what? I wasn't sure, like, I'm just doing a just chatting for my anniversary of streaming. But maybe we can talk a little bit about lore, if you guys want. I only, I only brought it up twice. The second time being now. But I've alluded to some things in some of my covers, in the art of some of my covers. So if you want to check that out, there's an option. But yeah, I've alluded to some things in a lot of my covers at this point. So yeah, maybe we can talk a little bit more about that in the anniversary stream. That could be fun. I said before that I'm not a thief, but okay, yeah. Any other thoughts? Oh, save. There are a lot of save slots, actually. Yes, staring doesn't help me much, and I can't trace through much except thin walls and the ground. But it's fun! Like, it must, or at least I think it is. Like, pacing through the floor is like, ooh. You know, like Napstep look. Cute. I like that. You're what happens when a man mates with a bat. Oh god, what? You're what happens when a man mates with a bat. You're dealt with demons. You dealt with demons. Ah, yes. Demons. Affable creatures, I hear. See, Lucius? I mean, fine. Oh, my attention span. Very keen on bartering the very moment you meet them, unlike someone I know. And strangely, like someone else we both know, it's well known that demons offer immortality in exchange for a steep price. I wonder what you traded, Lucius, if you truly did deal with demons. He smirks at me and elects not to respond. Boy, I can't control when I come up half the time. Also, I got stuck in a wall once. Yikes. You tricked me into another guessing game, you know? Are you going to tell me the truth, or will you keep goading me to recite absurd theories? His white fangs gleam when he smiles, reflected against starlight. Who are you calling Lucius? Sorry. I was reading the name as I spoke, and it just like short-circuited in my brain. Why? If I reveal all my secrets now, I fear that there will be no riveting banter left to pass the time. We wish to stay the hand that met in silence for as long as we can, do we not? Fine, we do. Maybe I can ask you about simpler things. I retrieved a small charcoal scrap I found on my first night exploring, holding it up for him to see. He's surprised. I found this under some curtains. What can you tell me about it? Is that? Lucius moves towards me and halts my step, his hand lingering in the air between us as if the scrap is a loaf of bread and he hasn't had a meal in weeks. The intensity of his reaction compels me to stand in turn. After a moment of hesitation, I gently set it into his palm. Lucius practically cradles the scrap, his fingers passing reverently over the smudged charcoal. I just thought I was being helpful by tidying up a spot you missed. I was going to tease you about it. You actually recognize it? I do. His demeanor has completely changed, almost to an unrecognizable degree. His stooped shoulders don't resemble the rigid, dry, humored vampire I've come to know. Then again, I hadn't taken the time to know him until tonight. He breathes out with shuddering difficulty, as if his lips have gone dry, but slowly he begins to speak again. I ripped to shreds one night. I was so angry back then. The night I arrived? No, this was a very long time ago. This was a portrait of someone I once knew. I shake my head when he starts to hand the scrap back to me. You don't need to give it back, Lucius. It was yours to begin with. Unless you ripped the drawing because you hate the person that picked it? Do you not want it anymore? Lucius avoids my eyes, though he tucks the scrap carefully into his pocket. A pointed question. Humans really do prefer black and white thinking, don't they? He's referring to me by my mortality again, rather than my name. It's complicated then? A sore subject? Yes. His snappy tone makes me flinch, but I hold my ground and refuse to let it show. Because how can hatred persist in the vacuum of eternity? Once anger has finished ransacking what remains of her soul, all that's left is... exhaustion? Lucius narrows his eyes at me. How would you know such a thing? I gave him an innocent little shrug. I'm not ready to change the topic to myself because I find myself genuinely wanting to know more about him. Lucius regards me for a while longer, tapping his finger against his collarbone, before he relents with a sigh. I see no reason to keep this secret from you. It's definitely his wife. Maybe. The portrait depicts the reigning monarch who exiled me here over 300 years ago. Her Majesty Hildegard Edgehaven. Oh. I had suspected we'd both been punished by members of the royal family, but to have it confirmed, my man raises his eye at my lip. I don't want to upset him any further with a poorly timed question. Carry on asking whatever you like, Leo. Within reason, I will indulge your curiosity. My questions burst from me like water from a long-suffering dad. How did you come upon such a portrait? I hear it's illegal to depict the faces of the royal family in common artwork. Just having one in your possession, it's an open act of rebellion, isn't it? His lips lift on one side, taking on a smug's edge. Never mind. Maybe it was his girlfriend, and for some reason, she exiled him for some reason. I'm well aware. What further punishment do you think the current crown can bestow upon me if they find out? Perhaps they will banish me off to a different state? Or perhaps they'll stop sending me guests, hoping in vain that I'll dry up like a prune from lack of blood and attention. To answer your question, I described her face to an artist from memory. So you've seen her. You knew her from before. What did you do to Queen Hildegard? Did you break her into her wine cellar, or were you her former lover? She exiled you when she caught you in In bed with another? Disgusting, no. We were never thus involved. Besides, I preferred to take on partner at the time. Juggling two seems like taxing at best. But based on your logic, what you said when you met me, you must have committed a crime so deeply, grievously, utterly heinous to have been sent here. Am I wrong? It has been a long time since I last felt like I was sitting in a confessional booth. I don't miss the glint of amusement that dances across his otherwise unflappable features. What of you, I did ask you first, as you said, and all of this time I have been dying to know what unforgivable crimes you committed. Oh, I made a vampire feel like he's dying. Quite a feat on my part. I sneeze. You really must get indoors. Come, I'll walk with you. You'll not be bested by distant screams while I am by your side. Beset, oh, yes, alright, let's get indoors. How about a hint then? A hint about what, you're still thinking about it? You're insatiable. It's one of my most charming personality traits. Come on, let's trade hints about why we're here, what crimes we committed. Will you go first? I will go first. He seems satisfied with that, though he also decides to occupy his hands with a cleaning cloth. I watch him clean every surface he touches, like a whirlwind of sanitation. He tends to settle into one of the various lawn chairs during our nightly performances, but without the backdrop of my music, I notice he seldom likes to hold still. Well, I'm waiting on your hint. I haven't come up with a hint yet. I glanced down at my lute and songwriting journal, trying to remember what it was like when I first held them in my hands. I remember how jealous the other girls were when our overseers chose to train me as an entertainer. It was a coveted position, and I was so proud. I remember the crushing disillusionment when I realized they would never allow me to play or to speak freely. The strict, inflexible lessons where they rapped my knuckles with a cane for the slightest mistake. I remember how I swore that one day I'd say and do whatever the hell I wanted, damn the consequences. You already know that I have a dog penchant of speaking my mind, Lucius. I grew up in a stifle home, where this attitude was deeply discouraged. This is why I say I'm wrong a lot. Once I broke free of them, I didn't want to hold myself back. I was drawn to everything I couldn't do while I was growing up. I wanted to see the world, and I did. There are times I've been relentless, unreasonable, and careless, all in the name of acting freely. It's gotten me into trouble more than once, but being sent here is the latest in a long time of consequences I brought upon myself. I see. You grew up among people who wanted to break your spirit and punish you when you did not bend. The stifle home you describe sounds a lot like an alluvial one. You'd have much in common with the children here. More than you know. I bite the inside of my cheek, taking a moment to weigh my options. As far as I can tell, he has been honest with me. Should I not be honest with him in turn? Lucius, I'm from here. I'm from Illuvia. What? So you do know all of Illuvia's beliefs and customs, yet the way you act and carry yourself is in spite of them? Huh. It seems we are both rather insolent, you and I. Though they should have given you credit for turning out as entertaining as you did. I don't act this way to spite them, not intentionally. I ran away at a young age and haven't returned in years. I suppose I've shed what little Illuvian manners I had. But if you lived to see the world, why in heaven did you come back? Don't you now owe me a hint? A hint. He echoes me, folding his arms in front of his chest. He finally ceased cleaning, or perhaps ran out of things to clean, and has settled into his usual velvet chase. A hint about what I did to end up here. Lucius aims his face at the ceiling, as if he could see the stars through it if he stared hard enough. I don't think I did anything wrong, Leo. You don't? After I made myself vulnerable, told him where I'm from, and detailed the shortcomings of my personality, the nerve. What does that even mean? You don't think you did anything wrong? How does that qualify as a hint? That doesn't... I falter as I notice that Lucius is not arguing with me, or even looking my way. Will you play me the song you were practicing outside, Leo? I fear we do not have all the time in the world. I will be forced to return to my coffin before long. Forced? You say it as if you can sleep in the bed with the curtains drawn shut. I would if I could. I generally miss sleeping in the bed. Wait, you actually can sleep in the bed? Why not? Questions, questions. Despite his gripping, Lucius does not leave me in suspense. Vampires are prone to compulsions. Universally, they cannot enter one's home without an invitation, and they cannot set foot across running water. I hear some vampires are even compelled to count spilled seed and grain, or to count the holes in a fishing net. I have an additional compulsion, a curse, courtesy of Her Majesty Hildegard Edgehaven. When she had me exiled, she also used sorcery to bind me to a coffin. I cannot stray far from it, lest my insides twist upon themselves, strangling me from within. The first night I resisted the coffin's call and slept in a separate chamber, I awoke vomiting blood. Naturally, this is far from ideal. I need to restrain all the blood I have. You asked me if I hated the subject in the portrait. While it's true that my anger has faded into exhaustion, I do still find her abominable. She knew how I despised tight spaces. Oh God, Lucius, that's terrible. Terrible enough for us to move on to your nightly performance? Yes, of course, forgive me. I clear my throat, brushing my fingers over my neck. Well, dang. What are you doing now? Is that where you'd like me to bite you? I yank my hand away from my neck as if I touched a hot pan. Lucius! I jest. If I bit you there, you would die from blood loss. Though I would bite you if you asked it of me. Are you certain that you're not interested in eternal life? I already have that. I don't have more interest in that. Honestly? No thanks. You keep talking like a man who no longer wants to hear a song. Lucius raises his hands in surrender, though I catch a sight of his shoulders still quaking with amusement. I like this. Okay, chapter 5. I think we're gonna have to leave it here, guys. It's been 2 hours already, which I'm impressed. And we haven't even gotten an ending, and I didn't really schedule any more streams for this. Man. I thought we would be able to, like, finish it in one, but apparently not. How long to beat lied to me. So she killed someone and he, I don't know, kicked a puppy. He would be, like, in my eyes, it would be very fair that he's here if he kicked a puppy. We don't really know. Like, she says that it's her attitude that got her to this point. But she didn't, like, give any hints as to what exactly maybe she did. So, yeah, there's a chance she killed someone. Or maybe she thought the wrong way about someone. Or, I don't know. Depends on Illuvian's customs, I guess. It sounds like they could have just sent her here for whatever. Because stealing gets them to, like, cut your fingers. So, who knows? Pull a 5-hour. I can't. I would if I could, but I can't. I have some stuff I need to work on, so I can't pull a 5-hour today. Maybe on Friday if it takes us longer, because we're playing 3 games that day. Because they're supposed to be short. So I hope they are. We're supposed to be playing 3 games that day, so maybe I'll pull a 5-hour on Friday. But yeah. Also, I noticed that there's like 3 mistakes on my schedule. Ignore those. Just go along with the things I program, I guess. The streams that I schedule. I think it was the 2 streams for this week, and there's also another one that is like scheduled for a Saturday, but it's or a Friday, but it's actually a Saturday. This was supposed to be short, indeed, and it wasn't. So I might squeeze maybe a guerrilla stream sometime during the month to try and finish it, but we'll see. If not, then it'll have to wait a little bit longer. But that's fine. But anyway, with that, This is fun. I'm enjoying this a lot. I like this story and where it's going. I wonder what exactly determines the endings you get. But I guess we'll find out in its due time. But with that, thanks so much for coming. Thanks so much for being here and giving me a couple of your hours. I wish I didn't have to work, but I have to. Because I'm really excited about this one. I'm really, really liking it. But yeah. Anyway, and I'll be seeing you on Friday. Okay? See you guys. Bye.